Biden administration is ready to broaden the spectrum of weaponry it provides Ukraine by providing the powerful long-range rocket system that is now a priority demand from Ukrainian leaders, officials said. The administration is leaning towards providing the system as part of a broader military and security aid package to Ukraine, which may be disclosed as early as next week. Senior Ukrainian leaders, including President Volodymyr Zelensky, have pushed in recent weeks for the U.S. and its allies to deliver the Multiple Launch Rocket System, or MLRS. The U.S.-made weapon system can launch a barrage of hundreds of kilometers of rockets, considerably further than any of Ukraine's existing missiles, which the Ukrainians think might be a game-changer in their fight. Another system that Ukraine wanted is the High-Mobility Artillery Rocket System, known as HIMARS, a lighter-wheeled system capable of firing many of the same types of ammunition as the MLRS. However, the Biden administration has hesitated for weeks on whether to ship the system amid rising fears about the National Security Council that Ukraine may deploy the new weapon, officials said. The U.S. aims to debate the topic of supplying Ukraine with these weapons as early as next week, Olga Skabeva, a famous Russian TV presenter, claimed in a high-profile program on the official network. Currently, the problem is being addressed by the U.S. presidential administration. So today, we're not even talking about tactical weapons anymore, but about operational tactical weapons. He continued, the U.S. MLRS can launch shells more than 500 kilometers, and if the Americans do this, they will certainly cross a red line. Although Skabeva does not represent the Kremlin, her opinions typically mirror official thinking. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina replied to the CNN story on Twitter on Friday, saying she was angry that the Biden administration had given up on giving Ukraine with a missile system. On Friday, outgoing Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said a final decision on the MLRS had yet to be taken. Naturally, we are wary and mindful of Ukraine's requests, privately and openly, for what is known as a multiple launch rocket system. And I'm not going to preempt a decision that hasn't been taken yet, Kirby told reporters during the briefing. The topic of whether to deliver the missile systems was high on the agenda at two meetings last week. At the White House, where cabinet deputies assembled to debate national security strategy, officials said. At the core of the matter is the same one the administration has had from the outset, whether shipments of more heavier armaments to Ukraine would be spotted by them. One of the greatest diversions, the insider stated, is the rocket system's enormous range. The MLRS and its light counterpart, HIMARS, may be launched for 300 kilometers, or 186 miles, depending on the kind of ammunition. They are shot from mobile vehicles against ground targets, which will make it simpler for the Ukrainians to employ them. Russian authorities have declared openly that any notification against their nation would be a huge escalation and claimed Western countries were making themselves legitimate targets by continuing to support Ukraine. Another big issue in the Biden administration is whether the U.S. can afford to give so many modern weaponry called for military stocks, the sources added. Asked on Monday if the U.S. would deliver the technology, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin rejected. I don't want to go ahead of where we are in the resource requirements process, he told reporters.